thank you so much for tuning in. I trust that the right people will be here at the right time to receive this message. It's another high vibe human experience hangout. That's what I'm saying now. With your Care Bear, Heidi Pop, and my extra special guest I've been so excited to talk with, and who actually inspired me with our little online store here, is Miss Davis Neves. Hello, Davis.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, great. How are you? So good
I'm
to see
doing
you.
so well. I'm just so happy to do this with you because, sorry, the dog. It's a little early in the taping for the dog, but I already had the dog episode. Um, Davis has not stopped lighting up Hollywood from within. So there are way showers out there. There are light workers in there amplifying the light and being the solution. And your mission has really been save the kids. You have been out every march and rally I've ever seen. In fact, did we meet there or did we meet in a goddess ceremony? I knew you online, but when we
No,
physically met.
well, IO West was the
Oh,
first
yeah. Oh
time.
my God. Improv.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
forgot IO.
yeah. But we weren't friends. We didn't hang out, but I knew of you and we might have said, hey, how are just seen you around. But when everything started coming out and everyone started posting, somehow I got your message. Your message came across. Maybe because we were friends of friends or something, and I think I friended you then, and I was like, "Oh, this girl knows what she's talking about." And we had like 100 mutual friends, so it was that.
IO. That was it.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was my debauchery days, so I don't remember
same.
that much.
I was drunk the whole time, like the whole 10 years I was there.
Oh my gosh. So you've
That
been
was
in the
fun.
industry. Yes, it was a lot of fun. So much fun. You've been in the industry for a very long time as well. I know you're from Georgia. Yes.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
did you officially move to LA?
I came out here in 2002.
Okay.
Which
There you
is
go.
crazy now that it's been 20 years. Like, that's crazy to me.
That's so
Um,
amazing.
but I've learned a lot. Like, I could say, "Oh, it doesn't feel like any time," but it does. I have learned a lot, matured a lot, grown a lot, and seen a lot. And being from a small town in the South and coming to LA was like such a culture shock. And I definitely got used and abused, by a lot of people who were like, "Oh, can I stay over? Can I have a ride? Can you give me all your money? Can you give me?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, of course. Like, we're all a community." And I didn't realize like LA is different. People here will just take and not give back, and there's not that sharing. It's more of like a selfish, which I
Yeah.
understand because it's competitive and it's Hollywood. We're all trying to survive here, but I've had
Yeah.
to learn to like put up boundaries, take care of myself
Oh my gosh, so important. Yeah.
while having love for everyone at the same time. So I've learned a lot. I
That's the
haven't figured
biggest
it out
part.
yet.
That's the biggest, most beautiful thing is you've always found the light within all of these situations and you've always seen the beauty in it all. Like you've believed in others. I think that's beautiful. I came out from the Midwest and the same thing. I was so shocked at how cold people were. And, coming from Midwest, you say hi when you cross each other on the street. And they did not do that here. And boundaries is when things changed for me. But where we different, where things were different was when the lockdown hit, I walked away. And with medical choice, because at that time I was like more food service and nothing aligned with my mission, but also, I was able to, and I had the kids to focus on. You hunker down even more, and you've been navigating the medical choice and, the tyranny there. Every rally, every protest, I remember when we were at a gather or a protest and we met like a blue blood, so, within the
Mm,
industry, their family
mhm.
lineage all through Hollywood, and she's an SRA. And she was so emotional because we were all showing up for her and
Yeah.
giving her support and giving her a voice. And my thing is when it was so problematic and traumatic and, heavy on the heart, there you were, like this beacon of light, like, oh, we got this, praise it up. Like it was so beautiful. I'm like, oh, heaven help protect Davis through all of this.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you've been protected.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know how I still get work, how I'm still here, but I love that this has become a trend online with Balenciaga, with Epstein, and everyone's talking about it. And people are coming out, like Christy Carlson Romano and Allison Stoner, and these girls who were raised in it and saw things firsthand. They're having podcasts and discussions, and they're talking about how can we change the industry and help the kids and expose the predators. And it's so beautiful to see that we're not crazy. We never were. We were never in the wrong. We were always out there doing the right thing for the right reasons. And we knew that deep down in our hearts. And I'm just proud of us all for sticking with the mission and bringing everyone to the right side and getting the train, keeping it moving and staying here. Because I don't want the bad guys to win and for me to not be able to have fun and have a great career on set as an actor living my life. No, like they can't win. They can't drive us away.
Totally.
So I'm going to stay and fight, might as well stay and fight and see what happens.
You're fighting with optimism, though. You're fighting through the heart. So I don't even call it fighting. I go, you're just way showing.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be positive, and I don't walk onto set and start talking about this stuff. I'm very professional and hardworking, and I show up and I do my job, and so it's undeniable that these casting directors want me, and that I'm picked out of the line, and I show up and I do the job, and so why would they have any reason? I have done nothing wrong. It's the bad guys that have done the bad stuff. Like they're the criminals. They're the guys who don't need to be working on set anymore. And so holding them accountable, calling them out, and just being a good person and showing up, like making it undeniable so they can't kick me out. And even if one production doesn't want me, there's so many jobs out there.
There really are. You've had a good mindset with that, is what my mom would raise me, because rejection is a big thing you have to navigate with this, but you always have to trust, well, that wasn't mine. The next, this isn't my, it's a way of perspective of looking at things. And that alone gives you the confidence in the bright light too. But I mean, you've navigated them all, Spielberg and all. And if this audience, if anyone finds this or tunes into this or has been watching my bit, how energy works. And when you come across these people, I've literally worked with demons on set who had a stench. They can't see you. They walk around you. But what you're doing is you're spreading your light and you are able to transmute it, because it's like gangrene. We can't run away or it's going to take over our beautiful coast and our gorgeous SoCal terrain. You can't walk away from this. You've got to either with the heart put your roots in the ground and flip it. You got to flip it light. And what you've been doing is navigating that. But, oh gosh, you've gone through the ringer too. Like people are ruthless in this industry. Like,
yeah, it was rough online. And it was more like friends and family than anyone that I was working with.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. But at this point, they've stopped. At this point, people I kind of get like, I'm not going to be quiet about it. Neither is the whole internet. Like it or not, support us or not, we don't care. We're going to keep posting and talking about it and sharing it, and we're going to fix it. And if you're a bad guy, watch out. And if you're a good person, get on board with us or get out of the way or whatever. But there's no reason to put someone down who's trying to help. So that doesn't ever hurt me when people are doing that. I just kind of see it as like, oh, I'm sorry you don't understand it, because obviously you don't, because we're not doing anything bad. So
there you go. When you're staying in the heart, it's a huge, huge industry. And the misconception is the entire thing is dark. And I'm like, millions of people are employed and they're good people. And it will never go away. We will always have entertainment. We are now all addicted to screens. We will always be making content and advertisements. It's not going away. But what can go away is the old system in place, which is the satanic system, in my opinion. And that can be chased out by the light, because we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand.
Yeah. And when you're on set and you're working with those 100 people who are like from all over the world, and they come here because they love Hollywood and they love entertaining, they want to be a part of this, and they're good people. You can tell they don't even understand the symbolism. They don't know what you're talking about. They're just like doing their job. And if I were to say to the whole set, hey guys, do y'all want to stop child trafficking, everyone would be like, yeah, there wouldn't be one person, I think there might be one executive producer that's not even on set who might be channeling things into a negative way, or some writers who are like, let's put in these dirty satanic jokes, ha ha ha.
Mhm.
But it's not everybody.
Right. The dark is the
So
minority, I think. It's just
yeah,
so infectious and it is dark, so it is so contagious that that's the dangerous part. And that's
yeah. And people who don't even realize it, and then they start making the jokes and wearing the t-shirts like I love Satan, and I'm like, do you? I don't think you really understand that that's I don't do you do you
like, do
even
you
know that
really?
like, I don't think you wanna be involved with that if you knew it involved hurting children, like, that's not what we're talking about. I'm like, "Well, don't wear the shirt,"
Yeah.
um, so
Yeah.
people just don't even know about it, or that
Mhm.
yeah, they can't even fathom it's real. That's what most people are like, "Shut up, what are you even talking about? That's just" open your brain, open your mind, look at the
Mhm.
survivors, listen to their stories. They're not crazy. This is real. Let's help the kids. It's really a simple message.
Right. Well, I noticed at one of those marches or protests that that woman, even just being recognized, changed her entire light body and her entire field. So she's able to be brave then and speak up. Like, it's just these baby steps, but it literally is the survival of the fittest to be able to do it. I know lockdown was tough because when the world shut down, I mean, Hollywood was only shut for like 4 months. But then this crazy medical choice came about, and you've been able to navigate that. um what was my bit? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Like,
Yeah,
Hollywood is not going to flip overnight, but it I
no.
noticed the difference from being outside now looking in. I can see the difference. I can see the people passionate about making better content and be making
Mhm.
more family friendly content, higher vibe content. People such as us that see the symbolism, and we can be in there and we can change the creation of the content. That's huge. Like, that's
Mhm.
so huge.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I know. Yeah, I love it.
What made you focus on the kids, like saving the children and the kids? Is there any certain moment or?
That's an interesting question. Well, my mom was a child protective service worker. She was a caseworker for that. So I grew up all my life knowing that kids are abused. There's bad people who beat their kids, and we got to help them out. So I always knew that evil existed in the world. And being on set, a lot of times I was around kids, and I was playing the teacher, and 'cause I would see all the different dynamics of the stage mom, or the kid who loved it and the mom was not there, or and I've even taught in Hollywood schools, and I've babysat in Hollywood. So I'm around all these Hollywood kids, and a lot of people from the South, they say you can't have kids in Hollywood. It's too crazy and it's too dark and it's Satan's playground. Like, you wouldn't want to bring a child into that. And it's like, but there are these kids here, and we do need to protect them. And we should protect kids everywhere. And like, these kids are no different. They deserve love and protection. And
Mhm.
yeah, so
Mhm.
I just kind of always had my eye out for the kids, and just seeing. I remember where I was when, I don't know if we can even say the word P-gate,
Oh, I have.
Pizzagate.
Yeah.
When it hit the internet, 2016, I remember where I was. I was working on this movie, A Wrinkle in Time, and I was playing a teacher, and I was on a school bus full of kids. And I was sitting there on my Twitter in the corner, like making sure none of the kids could see it, and like going down the rabbit hole.
Oh,
And
a P
for
gate.
a
Wow.
P-gate that day, it hit in like 2016 in like an October day or something. And so it was like hitting me, and I'm seeing these little innocent babies who work in Hollywood. And so I'm like, wait a minute, I get that this is real. I know that satanic abuse exists. Like, it was all adding up to me. And I was just like, I have to tweet this. I have to retweet this. I have to talk about this. Like, I'm not going to just sit back and pretend this isn't real. Like, a lot of people are deny it. It's like, but what about this survivor? And what about this evidence? And,
Mhm.
just share it. And hopefully I'm wrong. But if we're not wrong, there's might be some kids out there who need us right now. Like, what can we do?
Yeah, they need us
So
to speak up. Yeah,
yeah,
bringing the
so I
light into the
started that.
darkness.
Right.
Mhm.
So started that day, like, hey guys, like, let's research that. Like, if you put it on Facebook, like, hey guys, have you heard of this? Like, let's research this. Like, if this is true, we got to shut it down. And I got so much hate that day. I was like,
Oh, it started then.
it
Oh.
started then, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll be on Twitter, but I'm not going to start talking about this because people are getting upset. So I took it to Twitter and I would tweet about it all the time. And then I got my Twitter shut down, of course. And then I would Instagram about it. I got my Instagram shut down, and I'd get my Facebook. During that time, we were all getting censored constantly, and
Mhm.
it was the lockdown, and we were, just trying to get the word out. And now it's come out that yes, we were being censored for no
Mhm.
good reason. Like we were speaking
Mhm.
truth, being suppressed, and it made us look bad. And my agent dropped me at that time because, he's kind of like, "What are you talking about? Like, shut your mouth! Like, just play
Yeah.
along, play the
Play
game. You
along.
didn't
That's the
get
thing. Shush and play
yeah,
along. Yeah.
yeah." And it's like, why can't other people care about save the whales, save the rainforest? Why can't I say save the kids? Save the kids at the border, save the kids being trafficked, save kids being abused, like all the kids. And people say, well, what about the Black Lives Matter? Yes, save the Black Lives Matter kids, save all around the world, all the kids, because they can't speak up for themselves. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Um, if their parents are abusing them, like, okay, I'll stand up for you, like, I'll help you. Um, and there's so many people, yeah, suppressing it, teachers, parents, they're acting like it's not real. So I'm like, well, I'll take your side. I'll believe you and I'll stand up for you.
Oh. And then like when the lockdown hit, you took it to the streets. Not
Yeah.
only were you the ultimate if you haven't seen Miss Neves work, she was chalking all over the city. I mean, Venice Beach, Los Feliz, downtown, in the valley, like everywhere she was hashtagging and it's chalk. So, it does
Yeah.
rain or it does go. It's like not
Yeah.
vandalism, but
Yeah.
just message, just putting the
Yeah.
word out. And I think it created this. Well, and all the protests you went to were in the hundreds or thousands of people sometimes. It was like the people were finding each other and gathering and saying, yeah, I'm standing up for this too. I'm standing up for this too. And then the momentum grew and the movement grew. And there was a lot of pushback from industry because,
Yeah.
secrets get disclosed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, the way you navigated yourself was just with the shining bright light and, messaging and doing no harm. You meant no
Yeah.
harm. You were just sharing
Absolutely.
things. So it's kind of like people are like I can't take her down.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I want to be mad
She
because
won't get up.
yeah, like I don't know if yeah, they don't know what to say. And it's like peace, love, happiness. Have a nice day. And now I've started stickering because the stickers last longer. And
Yay.
so I had a bunch of stickers, Save Our Children, and then that hashtag has been removed from the internet. So then I went to Save Our Kids, which that one has been suppressed as well. But I'll put them up at Runyon Canyon and just all over LA. And I'll go back months later and they're still there.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like people are finally not mad about it anymore. They're finally like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
Because
Like,
forever it was a divided issue. It was like if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, it's like who cares? It doesn't matter. Save all the kids. Everyone should
yeah.
care.
There's always those groups of people that try to find the division in it all and then focus on that because they feel that will take
Yeah.
it down. But you didn't falter. So kudos to
Yeah, it's
you
like
and
this is
brave to
something
you.
we shouldn't matter. Politics shouldn't matter. Race, religion, like all of us should care about all the kids all the time. And even if it's just like at your family function, if grandpa's knocking the kids, or say, "Grandpa, come on," or something like it could be just minute little things, or someone's in the grocery store grabbing their kid, and you stand up for the kid and say, "Hey, come on," just like
Mm.
just look out for all the kids all the time. And because people say, "Well, what can I do? Like, what charity?" And I don't know any good charities, honestly. Like, I
Yeah.
out
You're the charity. You're
yeah,
the charity. Yeah.
exactly. In your work and in your family and everywhere you go, like look out for the kids. And if everyone's doing that, then we're all protecting each other, and all the kids are okay. And so
Yeah.
those parents, they can run, but they can't hide because we all have eyes on those kids.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna help them, and they can know, like, oh, I know that lady. Maybe she can help me. Like, hey, can you help me? And like I'm open and I will help them. And thank God no one's come to me personally and said that, but
I know.
I would do all I can.
Oh, that's so
All
cool.
do all we can. Like, that's the least we could do is like, "Oh, geez, okay, let me help you." Like, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause
You
people
brought up
help animals and they don't help kids.
I know, right? Random animals in another continent. I go, how about the
Yeah.
children here and now that
Yes,
are
exactly.
gracing every continent on the planet
Yeah,
and
yeah,
underground, but we won't go there. Um,
exactly.
you brought something up though that I wanted to touch on more. The Hollywood stuff is being on set with those Hollywood moms and Hollywood kids and things. And that's another myth to dispel, I think, because it's such a generalized kids are born into it and that's who they are. No, like I know personally, I've worked on set with kids many times and I've had kids come to me and say, can I have a Red Bull? I'm like, where's your mother?
Yeah.
Drink some water. Like, what?
Yes.
So, and then the moms that show up more glam, it's for them, not
Mhm.
for their kid. But you do get children that are like, I want to entertain. This is where my
Yeah,
spark is. And they have
right.
parents that support them. One of my last big clients was a lot of the toy jobs, when they do the tabletop toys and it's just a hand
Yes,
in there, playing with the
yes.
dolls. She was actually a teenager, but her mom was there every second, everything. And she earned respect. She earned respect not only from the crew, but the production team. So that girl was called every time. It was like,
Mhm,
we're not going to get a problem with you. You're
mhm,
serious about this being a business because it is. It's a business.
mhm, mhm.
And your daughter's taking it seriously. So we will give her this, regular gig. And it was so professionally done. And it was the best jobs I ever went on. And I got to train all my girls through them because they were just so cool and nice. If you're good at your job, you're not a cog in the system, which is that's something to be said because we want to dispel this. You're just a good person when you're there
Yeah.
doing a good person. You can flip it. But so there's so many kids that are
Mhm,
there for the right reasons, and
mhm,
maybe that is their outlet. We had a lot of
mhm,
homeschoolers that would be on set
mhm,
because they were available, but you knew the ones that were tricky or the ones that were born into it or based on
mhm,
their parents or these children's behavior. And
mhm.
with us flipping it light, we're able to kind of transmute it as well as draw attention to those that are being their best selves and, just give them more momentum and more traction. I don't know if that
Yeah.
came out right, but
No,
yeah,
you're right, and
we've worked
I
with so
watch
many
TV.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and watching TV, I wanted to be one of those kids
Yeah.
on, like, you can't do that on
Oh my
television,
God.
and
That was my
yeah,
favorite.
like,
An
ah,
electric company was
yes,
the other.
and
And
even
then I wanted
Double
to be on
Dare.
Glow. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
oh yeah, all the still, that's still what I'm and I
What
would
a
always
favorite.
be dancing and putting on crazy outfits and singing and being that outgoing kid that would have loved to be a child star. So I would never want to take it away from any child who's an overachiever. And I was an overachiever, so I had all the grades, and I was just bored in my small town on a farm. So yeah, I would never want to take it away from those little performers who love to sing and dance and act and want to be there. And the parents are, it's a healthy, positive space. I'm not saying like shut it all down and no, like hide all the children. Like, no, of course, like let them play and let them be a part of it. But there are some pushy stage moms and the kids don't want to be there, or
Mhm.
kids who are born into it who are just bratty and they take it for
And they get it.
granted.
They
And
know if they speak up, they get whatever they want. So
yeah,
yeah, they're sorry, go ahead.
but I've seen it all.
Oh,
I've seen it
please.
all, and I've seen, yeah, what works and what doesn't work. And there's definitely a way to be a child star and to become a great person. I don't think there's anything, you have like your Raven Simone's, the Cameron, and like a lot of girls or guys who have navigated it well. And so if they have the right guidance, the right parenting, and they're not into drugs, and they're not passed around by executives, then
Mm.
they are
Heather
going to be
O'Rourke.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many kids that they deserve even now for us to go back and investigate like what happened and hold those people accountable and get them out of here so they
Mhm.
can't happen again. Name all the names, expose all the bad guys, even if they're rich and famous.
Mhm.
Sorry,
Yeah.
like sorry.
I really think that would be a nice solution-based thing to go towards. I mean, I'm not sure really if they're already doing it, but the guardians who are in charge of the kids coming on set, they should be vetted too. Like
Oh
there
yeah,
should be a audition process just for them being the guardian.
oh
And
yeah,
is this a child we want to work with, but also are they here for the right reasons or under duress
yeah,
or for other systems? Because
yeah. I feel like
yeah, that
background
could change
checks.
things.
background checks for every single person who works on set with kids. Because yeah, the guardians could be coming, and they're in a small room with other children too, and so that creepy uncle could be saying something weird, or that mom who's pushy, and yeah, it's just kind of like, let's just do a quick little check and make sure we're not criminals. That
That
would
can be
be
done.
nice.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
just
that would be
shed more light on
huge.
it. Because it's like the roaches that scurry when you shed light on it. Like keep shedding the
Yeah,
light
like,
on it.
we should all want this for all the kids and anyone
Yeah.
who interacts with kids, and I think it's kinda supposed to be that way, but then people don't do the test. There's some kind of SAG thing they came out with of, like, to work with kids or to manage kids, you have to take a course and pass the course and have a certificate, and, like, everyone ignored it and no one did it,
Oh. Oh.
and
That should
no
be
one
mandatory.
yeah, and the studios don't care, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, just come to work," but
Oh my gosh. As craft artists, they made me do even rigging and forklift driving. Like I had to take all those tests to be on set. Why
yeah.
can't, if you're working with children, they pass that one? Oh
Yeah,
my
and
gosh.
if you go to, like, sittercity.com or care.com to register to be a babysitter, you pay $10 for a background check, and they do it, like, right then. I think it takes, like, 5 minutes.
Huh.
And you get a check mark on your account, and, it means you've never hurt a child and you're not a felon. So,
Yeah.
I think
Hey,
that
that's
those simple things we could do to
mhm.
help the kids. That
There's
should
more
be
solution based. And then I think the other really important one, and this is from parent point of view, because the other thing I always thought, I was also a preschool teacher and I'm teaching again now, and you have the vibe too. We need that good kid content. We need like Kids Incorporated again, or like
yeah.
we need
Where's
some more
yeah.
some
And that's
some
when I
positive kid content again. And there's some
yeah.
out there. There's some out there, but there's also
Mhm.
not a lot of other stuff, especially
A lot
cartoon
of
wise, because they can
dirty
slip so much in.
cartoons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they slip a lot in there. But
yeah.
I was talking with Aaron Moriarty of Truth Quest about that, and he has so many blooming ideas, like a cartoony preschool class, or just there are so many opportunities for kids and entertainment for it to be safe and bright and positive message, and those with the hopes and dreams could have that as their aspiration, not
Yeah.
the other stuff.
Yeah, and every time I talk to executives, which isn't all that often, but every time I do get their ear, I say, "I'm from the South, and I know my family, they want clean content, and they don't even watch things with drugs and sex and crazy, like,
Mhm.
no, they want Hallmark, they want Lifetime movies, and most people in America are more sort of Christian conservative,
They are.
morals and values. And so
Mhm.
I'm saying you'll make more money if you put out some clean shows like what we used to watch in the 80s and 90s, and like these clean sitcoms that everyone loved, that were making money. Now everything has to have a spin of sexuality and drugs, and which is
Mhm.
fine. Like, okay, kids need to learn some of those things too, but like
But
every
like in a
show,
but like in a Saved by the Bell way,
yeah,
which
like after
is
school
on energy
special.
bills.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
or 902, yeah, there's ways to deliver the message without, and we know the stories, and we could talk for episode after episode about the dark infiltrating Hollywood and all the messaging, but all we're going to do is generate more loosh that way. You
Mhm.
need to find the people to have the uprising without, I think,
Mhm.
triggering the pain body. Give the
Mhm.
messaging without. So I feel the solution would be then to focus on the light stuff and
Yeah.
let that overpower and overtake. I'm so glad you get to bend the executives' ears on that, because they're all about the numbers.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
do need to know that that's what will sell, especially
Yeah.
even internationally. And that's,
Yeah.
I think, the next big movement is the content that's heart-centered, that provokes
Mhm.
conversation within the family, because the family unit has
Mhm.
been torn apart as well, and normalize the families and normalize, the parent, the guardian, because of what
Mhm.
I was noticing with my kids watching random stuff is the parent's always the gullible knobhead. They're
Yeah.
always like, ugh, instead of a character they looked up to and they
Yeah.
wanted to emulate. They were always just like ooh, I'm the doofus. I'm
Yeah,
like,
dumb and nerdy and like, let's just get mom out of here. Let's get dad. Let's go sneak out and do all the fun stuff, and they'll never know. And the kid, like bumbling moms, like too busy or drunk or,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, that's not how most of our parents are. Like, where's the
Mhm.
good guy? Where's the good moms in
Yeah,
Disney shows and the good
yeah.
dads? Like that's normal. Like, what about like, yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
it's
And we
hard.
know
It would be
mhm.
hard to have kids and find shows
It's
for
very
them
hard.
because there's so much out there. You can't watch everything before you show them.
Yeah, yeah. And then
So
there's the age-old argument of, well, don't give them a screen in the first place. I'm like, sometimes it's very hard. And then with me,
mhm,
I'm on the screen. So what kind of hypocrite would I be? So like now they're going through
yeah.
your stores online. I'm like, here's
Yeah,
your
that's
screen time.
so cool. And I
Yeah.
try to put out everything I put out. I try to make it so if my niece and nephew saw it, they wouldn't be scarred by it, that they would be uplifted by it. Like, we as adults, we don't have to do things that are sexual all the time either. We can be clean and wholesome and have a positive image and
Mhm.
still work and produce great content and comedy and art. And it doesn't have to be dirty and gross. And, there's a
Yeah.
place for that in adult entertainment. But what about
Right.
the rest of us,
Yeah,
or most of us who just want to have a lovely, positive, uplifting experience? And we
exactly.
turn on the TV, yeah, we don't need this satanic imagery and kids doing drugs and
Right.
dying and sacrifice. It's like,
I
oh,
know. I
it's
know.
all
It's
over
awful.
every show.
I know. And we know the agendas behind it. We know. We've studied them. We've tried to raise the pitchfork about it. And I think what we're gathering on and what we can collectively say is that's not working, to throw it back in people's face to see. It's they can't if they can't comprehend it in that way, then you show them the solution way to doing things. You show them the light side of doing things. I think just to amplify that more, because we could talk till we're blue in the face how the dark has founded Hollywood and taken it over, and that's the messaging. It's getting worse and worse and worse. But you're just going, oh, it's too out of my control. I can't do anything about it. It's overwhelming. So you've got to pivot and show another way, and expose it without bringing people down with you. It's a very tricky thing to navigate. It
Yeah,
really is. I know I keep kind of going in circles with it all.
no, it's true. I can imagine what I would do with kids. And with my niece and nephew, I give them like musical instruments and art supplies and
Yeah, which
kind
is
of,
both you. Your
yeah,
ukulele. You got your ukulele songs, and I see your art
yeah,
behind you. And David
yeah.
has the most beautiful. Well, here's the link tree, and then we have your I think this is the
Yeah.
one. You can see all our stores on there because you have multiple stores. It's like Etsy, but
Yeah.
also this other one, Society 6, I think.
Redbubble, yeah, and Society 6. Yeah, and it was during the lockdown when I was still working. I've always been working, but of course it slowed down so much that I had a lot of free time and I've been doing these paintings and collages and stuff for years and like, oh, one day I'll put them in a coffee shop or have a show and my friend was wanting me to sell them in her gallery and I was like, I'm not just going to sell it for $50 when I could put it on a t-shirt and put it on a poster and sell prints and sell it
Oh,
forever and
spreading
make more of
the
a
light. See?
business. Yeah, make more of a business out of it. And she was like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I was like, let me show you. And so kind of like overnight, I was like, that's how you do it. And I'm still learning and still trying to figure it out. But I just create for fun. It's kind of like my escape from Hollywood and all the wordy stuff of like the scripts and the self tapes and it's nice sometimes to just no words, just colors. Like my brain can go somewhere different.
It's really beautiful, and I call it the high vibe artwork because it takes you on a journey, and it's just so well done and beautiful, and that's so smart because again you're spreading the light because you're putting it on something and someone can see it and be like, oh, that's really cool. You just shifted somebody. So
Yeah.
you're doing
And
God's
it's
work,
so
David.
bright. And I have some people who are like, it's so bright. Like the clothes are so bright. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's different. It's not going to be what you've seen before because that wouldn't be original, like anything that art is going to be something new and different and original. And um, so yeah, it's kind of fun. But at the same time, I'm like, should I have save our children's shirts? Like it doesn't, or like, should all the proceeds go to a charity? I don't know, but it's kind of I need it to be a side job. I would love to have in the future a whole art business that was profitable and be able
Mhm.
to do that as well as acting.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
someday I would love to have a gallery or art space where people could come and dance and sing and act and paint and, like, just all the I love all the art, and I
I
want to
know,
have
I love it so
a
much.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone could have a store. Everyone can be an
Yeah.
artist. Everyone can sing. Everyone can grab a ukulele. Everyone can be in a play, and and that's a part of our that we're suppressed in society. Like,
Yes.
get a real job and sit at a computer all day and never, be angry and make a lot of money and then party on the weekends. It's like, well, what if you just want to love every day, do art every day?
Create and do it. You
Yeah,
Speaking of on stage, even I don't think it was lockdown. It was when everything's open, but they were strict on like the passports and everything. And this, you found now how did you come about this? But I loved all when you kept trying to get me over to the stand up and the improv and the shows that were happening again with sovereign people. Like they're here
yeah.
and they're doing it. How did you come across all them?
Yeah, well, it was actually in my building, and, there was just, like, an empty gallery, and a girl took it over and just started doing stuff, and yeah, there's nowhere for us to go because of all the mandates, and so we're like, "Everybody come over here," and, it was kinda like an underground
Oh,
space. Yeah, that everyone could just come and play and perform and put up shows and all
that's
that, and, so yeah, I think it's important to do that, and now it's so sad because I used to do improv all the time at, like, the Clubhouse and Second City and UCB and all that, and once all this masking started and everyone's kind of picked their side, I lost so many friends who are now saying, like, "You can't come to the theater unless you're triple vaxxed." But they're inviting me to their shows, but I'm like, "But I can't walk in the door." And they're like, "Oh, sorry." It's like, well, I don't wanna go somewhere and play with people who they don't even want me there, I can't even go there. But if
right.
I showed up and even now, like, they would know, and they would like, they don't like me anymore.
Oh,
So it's
well, you
kinda like I had to
threatened their
find
demons. Yeah,
yeah,
you
like, I
threatened
had
their
to find
insecurity.
all new friends, and I'm so
Oh,
glad, like, you invited me over, and I met so many friends there, and I met so many friends at rallies and different parties, and I met so many other people who are not vaxxed, and, we
mhm.
talk about our hardships, and we help each other of, like, what shows we can work on and, how to write exceptions, and,
Mhm.
um but, yeah, I
That's
feel like I have all new friends now from, like, 3
which
years ago.
you need all the support. So it's okay to do that, to drop some and bring up some. Well, you didn't do it. They naturally fell away.
Yeah.
So they're not going
Yeah.
to be supportive anyway. But to
Mhm.
clarify for anybody watching that from here, they're not still doing that now, though, are they? Like to go because I don't. Pantages even dropped their thing. Like you can just they're
Yeah.
not checking. It didn't take hold because of people like us. We're like, nope, I'm not going to patronize.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
doesn't seem like once the state kind of said you got to do this, there's still so many that were like, no, I don't.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, I don't think there are any theaters that you have to require it for, but for a long time, like, West Side Comedy Theater, they required it, and that's a real casual, laid back theater, and I know the guys
Yeah,
who own it, and
yes, they're
even
from
for their
IO, right?
yeah, and even for their kids' classes, you had to have the shots, and so I'm just like, "Come on, guys," and yeah, we can go to maybe theaters now and restaurants, but I can't work like 80% of the shows still because of the vax mandate. And if
Mm,
I was a public school teacher or a private school teacher, I would have to have all 3 shots. So,
that's nuts.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm just
know my
still
buddy,
battling.
my good pal, her son was working commercially regularly, and he's just a doll, and he looks like a doll. He's just this bright redhead, bright light. But when they're slating for their audition, they have to say how many they've
Mhm.
had. Like,
Yeah,
hi, I'm so and so. I'm 7 years old, and I'm fully vaxxed. Like that's
yeah,
part of their audition. And her mom's
I
like,
know.
"We're out.
Yeah,
Call us when you wake up, Hollywood."
yeah,
Their career
exactly.
ended, and he was saving. He pretty much had his
Mhm.
college paid by then, almost. But they had to,
Well, hopefully it'll come back
yeah,
because, yeah, like
yeah,
my agent, he couldn't send me out for anything, and I've hesitated to get a new agent because it'd be the same thing over again. Like, why are we sending you out? You can't audition for anything. You don't qualify for anything. So I'm kind of like waiting it
yeah.
out. And luckily,
You
there's a lot of shows who have opened up. There's
okay? I
now
was gonna say
shows.
because you've been on set recently. I've seen all the pictures of you on
Yeah.
set.
Like
Mhm.
I have worked all year, but it's been few and far between. And the
Mhm.
year before it was few. And I've lost, like I had a regular gig on General Hospital as a nurse that I loved for years
Bless
and
you.
years.
Yeah.
And I could never, I haven't worked that in a, couple years. And it's heartbreaking
Yeah.
for, and to get opportunities. Like I was offered the job of being the stand-in for the lead girl on the show Physical, which
Oh, I think
I,
I've
as
heard of
a
that.
dancer,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would love it. Dream job. And
Yeah.
making money, like as a stand-in, that's when you really make your money,
You make your
that
money
you
and you
can
meet all the
bank.
people that would hire you outright for
Yeah,
contract. Yeah.
and they're wearing leotards and doing the 80s dancing, and I would have been, and I fit the girls like specs of her hair and her height, and I love dancing, and I have all this stand-in experience, and I would have made so much money, and I get to set, and I have my hair curled, and I have all my stuff, and I'm ready to go, and they're like, "Where's your card?" And I'm like, "Oh, here's my exemption," and like, "Can't, you gotta go," and all the crew and everybody's like, "Where are you going? No, we need you for the shot. Well, you're in the," and I'm like, I want to work. You want me to work. I'm super healthy. I took a test. I'm negative, but yet you're kicking me out.
Oof.
So,
Davis, I am so proud of you for holding your own for this because this has been my ultimate like with Hollywood of the compliers. It's like they just keep it going then, and it's like, oh, you're not
mhm.
helping.
And I have so many friends who have the fake cards, and it's like, I
Yeah,
can get you a fake, but it's not going to help.
it's not gonna help.
To
It keeps it going.
end, yeah, so we have to stand up for it. And I don't talk about it on set again once I get, I'm sitting there all prim and proper eating my craft service and doing my job, because I don't want to get people riled up, because there are
Sure.
people sitting beside me saying, I'm so glad everyone's vaxxed, because if we didn't have the vax, like and I'm like, just listening,
Tell
like,
me more. Would you like some of my
okay,
popcorn?
yeah, and then they're like, oh, let me follow you on social media. I'm like, oh,
Oh, that part.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's where
So
you and I were different because I was kind of loud on set. I was the ultimate craftspiracy, but it was a song and dance. You had to know how to, you just didn't want to make people
yeah,
uncomfortable. So
yeah.
you'd
A
say
lot of
things. Yeah.
times, yeah, we'll get into conversations
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you,
There's a lot of
again,
that.
professional is key. We all want to do
Yeah,
well at our job and look like we're doing a phenomenal job. So that's
yeah.
takes precedent.
Yeah, and we are. And back in the day, before all this went down, it was easier to talk about all that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
because
yeah, totally.
people weren't so sensitive and angry
Oh
and
yeah,
um
yeah.
about it. But yeah, a lot of us behind the scenes, we'll get talking about like flat Earth or the moon landing, and we'll just all be like, like for an hour, and a couple people like looking at us like we're crazy. But that's the fun of being on set and of being around creative artists, and that's the part we shouldn't lose. This is
Right.
the fun of it, and free speech, like,
Free
as long,
speech.
we're not hurting, we're not harassing anyone if we're just chatting in a private conversation about something we're interested in, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Again, and you're hanging, waiting to be called on. It's not like you're on walkie on channel one going, hey everybody, there's
yeah.
a
And I would
demon on
never
set
like,
today.
yeah, like that's back in Holding or back at Crafty, but when we're on the set, my mouth is shut, I'm listening, I'm doing what I'm told, and
Yeah.
being super polite, and like, they might somebody might have met me before, they might have seen my social media, they might be looking at me, be like, I know who you are, I've seen what you said, and it's like,
You're like,
okay, well,
right.
I have an opinion, I'm a
Yeah.
human, this is free speech, like, I might not like everything you stand for, you might not like, but we can stand here, work together, and make a check and have a nice time.
Hmm.
Or I have people also like who say, I could never say what you say, but I wish I could.
That. Yes.
Like
Yes.
my
Isn't that
hairdresser,
beautiful?
even my hairdresser, she's like, I can't say anything because I'd lose half my clients. Like whatever person comes and sits down, you have to agree with them while
Yeah.
you're cutting their hair, and they could be saying, I want to murder all the children. You have to, you can't have your own opinion. You can't post it because then you lose half your clients.
Sure.
And maybe I have lost jobs, and obviously I've lost my agent, but it's just worth it to me to
Always be true. Yeah.
be, yeah, and because I feel so lowly on the Hollywood pile, it's not like I'm in the spotlight of like, it's not gonna be a news story when I come out and say my opinion. So I have
Mhm.
more freedom because I have more anonymity. So I can say more. So I should say more because those people who are in those high places, they might say, "Oh, I'd lose everything. I can't say anything." Okay, well, I'll say it then. Since you
I'll
can't
stay for
say it
you.
and y'all
Yeah.
can't say it, I'll say it.
Yeah.
And if anything happens to me, oh well. Like
Oh,
it's not,
anything happens to you. Oh.
like
Well, I
somebody
think
has to say it, and what if we make it cool to
exactly.
say it? You know,
Mhm.
somebody has to start the trend and stand up and like we're not doing anything wrong.
No,
So
being yourself with, sharing that light. And I've said it before on other stuff that, when lockdown hit and when the agenda was launched, A-lists and some of the biggest I was going to say alphabet agencies, but I meant agents like CIA, William Morris. They gave out one sheets to their peeps. You follow this protocol or you're out. And that's like the muzzles, the this, like you have to share content about
mm,
this and this time frame or you're out, like threat after threat after threat.
mhm,
So to me, they lost all the power in my eyes. Like
mhm.
A-list, you're more zealous, you little puppet.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so being able to be your sovereign self, doing what you love in a place you love and sharing it and spreading it and finding the others literally every time, that to me, you're the A-list celeb in my eyes. So I'm
thank you,
very proud
yes,
of you.
thank you. We have the freedom and we need to take advantage of that freedom and not be afraid. And there's so many people kind of up and coming like, well, I want to be an A-list, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and never have an opinion. But it's like, well, then you don't really have a personality. You don't really have a backbone. You don't have anything you're standing for. Like, what are
Yeah,
your values? Like, what are you passionate about? What do you care about? Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
just being like a dead puppet, that's not interesting either.
No, no, and it will only get you so far because you'll be passed around
Yeah.
patty until they're done and the next one comes around. So
And
there's
they'll
nothing
abuse you and
solid.
abuse you and take
Yeah.
advantage of you because you have no line or no boundaries, no moral. I see a lot of, and I probably used to be like that too, of like, I'll drink anything and eat anything and go anywhere and do anything as long as they love me. And then
Mhm.
they're not going to love you anyway. So you might as
Mhm.
well stand up
Yeah.
for what you believe in and have real connections and friends and real people. Like casting directors have, emailed me and said, I'm going to put you on this commercial because they don't require the shots. And I know that, you've struggled all year. And so, like, I want to give you this gift. And so they get it too, or casting directors like, oh, we really, really need you for this role. Well, I can't because I was like, oh gosh, like, oh, okay, well, dang, and I'm just like, thank you for
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
hating me and not
Yeah.
throwing me away and realizing like it's okay to have a different opinion and to have your own bodily autonomy and still work. Like, we're not going to help, so there are good people, a lot of good people who
Totally. That's
are
what
out here working.
yes. You
Yeah.
gave me goosebumps because to be honest, that's what I've been excited to share with people of you is that you've held your own, you've held your conviction and your truth, and you still are prevailing. So to me, that is everything. And that's what it is. And that's what I want to teach my kids. Like
Yeah.
you stand in your truth and truth wins, love wins, God wins. Like just be you.
Yeah.
That's always going to be enough. And this industry is meant to to groom and shape and alter, not meant, I shouldn't have said that, but there is a system in place to groom and alter and shape products because these A-lists, they're microeconomies, they're businesses, they give millions of people work and it's all about the numbers. But a true sovereign human that's in it, if you can navigate the sludge now, that's only, you're just going to continue to rise. And I've seen that. I remember, oh my God, I was so furious. This is when I was like beep, 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 online, but I think it was 2020 and you were getting attacked by mutual friends even and improv and stuff. And I'm like, called all the goddesses. I'm like, everyone to Davis's feed, like all hands on
Yeah.
deck. Let's get her. Let's lift her up.
Oh,
But it's like, I'm glad we did that, but you didn't need us. You were like, with every person's thing, you were like, love blast, shield. I love you back. I love you anyway. And they'd be like, so like, I can't keep her
I hate
down.
you.
Yeah. And I was like, look at this
Yeah.
warrior go. Like,
Oh, thank
so
you.
that's freaking huge. Have you found anyone else that is just that? I'm sure you have, that have just, their roots are in the industry. They're not wavering, but they've never faltered from their truth. Are there more like you?
What do you think about that? There's a lot of people who walked away from it, gave away their SAG card, and they're kind of doing their own thing, like Siaka and some of these Hollywood for Freedom guys who are doing their own sketches and all
Mhm.
that, which I love, and I'm glad they're doing that. But I don't want to give away my SAG card and
You worked
everything
hard
I've,
for it.
yeah, like my retirement points that someday I'll cash in. Like I'm not giving that away, and um, yeah, so I think we do need good people to still be on set. Like if everyone just runs away from it, then we won't transform it. But I understand how they're saying, I don't want any part of this. And I respect people going to make their own networks. And I would love to go work for, you know, what's Antonio Sabato Jr.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, all these
John
new
Paul,
new
yeah.
yeah, all these new producers who are doing that stuff. It's amazing as well. But I'd also love to work for Disney and Netflix and take their money and be on their shows and be a fly on the wall to watch and make sure the kids are okay and to transform the energy, like even through the camera, you know, all these haters who think I'll never work again to show up on their screen. Like, I'm still here. Like, I
And
think
I
there's
still love
power.
you.
Yeah, and I still love you, and I still wanna save the kids, and I still don't regret anything I've said or done. And, yeah, to show up on those Netflix shows and Disney shows, and people are like, "Wait, I thought that you were said all this stuff and everyone hated you and you would never work again and you couldn't get on set." I'm like, "But I am, and I'm still here, and you can do it too." So if I
Yeah.
can be outspoken online and still go to work, you can do it too. And everyone on set has an opinion. If you look at the 100 people on whatever set and you look at their social media, well, this person is strongly feels this way and this person's strong, and that's okay. Like that's a great thing. So we should embrace each other's passions and causes, you know, and
Mhm.
just be positive about it. You don't have to hate on someone's like trying to save the world.
I know. They're all just different human experiences. If you're not honoring one another, then you're not walking the walk and talking the talk, I feel like. You're not being an authentic human because that's honor thy neighbor and, they're to be
Yeah, like
kind.
yeah, like why can't we talk about these things and just listen, you know, instead of
Mhm.
people just freaking out all of a sudden, like, I heard about that on CNN. That's a lie. That's a conspiracy theory. It's like, wait, what I'm saying is save the children from the bad guys. And
Mhm.
that's crazy.
See, like you're arguing.
Like,
You're
chill
doing what I
out.
don't think you mean you to do.
Yeah, like I don't think you
That's
understand that like I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want to help everyone. I just want everything positive. Like if someone's against it, I start to wonder, are they part of the bad guys? Like, that's the
yeah.
only explanation. If they don't
Yeah.
want the background checks and they don't want the criminals to be investigated and
They have something
prosecuted,
to
like,
hide.
are you part of it? Like, that's
Yeah.
the only explanation for some of
Yeah.
these people who are just rallying against me so much. I start to wonder, are they going to some ritual? You know, because things happen in Hollywood
Yeah.
behind the scenes, parties and
Yep.
dark arts and rituals and all kinds of ceremonies and things that
Every day.
we don't
Not
know
just not
about.
just
I've
ritual.
never been there.
I know. Well, we were protected. I've had opportune. I've had things chance happening. Um, Chance happens, or how do you say it? I've been, yeah, en route even to some things, and then just coincidence.
Mhm.
Um, I'm rerouted. And I'm like, I
Wow.
have been protected. And that's what I really feel like with the Christ consciousness and being full of light and being a good person. Your team is here. The angel, everybody's protecting you even when you're unconsciously like, yeah, I'll go. I don't know what
Mhm.
this is. No, you're
Mhm.
not. You are
Yeah.
not meant to be there. And if you shine so hard and practice what you preach and be in good faith, I do think your protection is bigger than you realize. And you're meant to be there because
Mhm.
every little step you're taking, you're spreading light. But they go on every just because Nexium has been exposed and is over does not mean those things are over. They were the what do they call it when they were the guinea pig, or they threw it
Mhm.
out. They gave him the bone.
Mhm.
Here's Nexium,
Mhm.
take it apart and put it away. Now no one will talk about this anymore.
Mhm.
So it's still going on.
Yeah.
So it cannot not be talked about, and it can
Yeah.
be talked about through the heart, and it can be received through the heart if you really want to be that positive change. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm not a person who's like, kill all the pedophiles and,
me
you
neither.
know,
It's
and
more
putting
loose.
them in the street. It's more like, I want to know why they became like that, what happened to them. I want them to confess and repent and for us to break all the cycles.
Yeah.
And
But
so I
yeah.
would rather them come out and say, "Guys, look, I was born into this. This was done to me. I did it to others. I see now. I want to stop it." Like that would be the ultimate change in Hollywood, to get people really talking about it, and really stopping it and breaking
Yeah.
the cycle and admitting it and confessing and write a book about it. And a lot of these kids, it is a ritual, like a family kind of religious thing that they're kind of born into, and they're just like, it's always around and they're always doing it, and it's like, it just happened to me, so I did it, and it's like Kevin Spacey, like his dad did it to him, so he does it to other people. So instead of denying it, Kevin Spacey, why don't you come out and say, yes, I was
Yeah.
abused, yes, I became an abuser, I am sorry, I need help, I want
Mhm.
to break the cycle. That's ultimately, to me, like the goal and
Mhm.
the dream, because we're all human, we're all flawed, no one's perfect.
Mhm.
Um,
And it's a perspective shift because, yeah, like you said, there's the blue bloods and those born into it and everything. But if they are trying to speak out and then they get attacked, that's who we need to protect, is the voice for the voiceless. Those who are brave enough to bring up, my parents have done this, the Barrymores, like that, like the lineage. I shouldn't even name drop the lineages of some of these people. It's like the power to forgive can shift the planet, and the power to shift perspective into, and if we always think about the children first and kids first, every single human has been a child at some point,
uh,
even pedos, even executives who their people sign contracts in bloods, they've all been children. What happened to them? What
mhm,
happened to them when they were children to become this? That
mhm.
can be addressed and healed and forgiven and shifted. This is not
Mhm.
like then invite them all to your house for tea after. This just means put this to rest, because
Yeah,
the whole hanging in the streets and burn it down, I'm like, you're being as dark as them now, because that
yeah,
is mass murder, and that is like this
yeah,
that is, I've never subscribed to that, even in my crazy heyday of online trolling and stuff.
yeah,
I'd be like, but this doesn't feel right. Hang her in the streets, slice her throat. I go, that's going to cause even
yeah.
more trauma.
And then
And
people are gonna hide more and be
you're
like,
going to
"Oh,
hide
I'm not
more.
gonna
And
say anything."
yeah. And all you do is teach your children, like the ones that hit their kids and say, don't hit while they're hitting. It's just completely
Yeah,
different. So a completely different perspective needs to happen, and what has gone on in Hollywood and what does continue to go on. And we need more bright lights like you, Davis Neves.
well, thank you. Well, I've learned a lot, and there's a lot of TikToks I follow, that I think that's why they're trying to shut TikTok down, is because so many people are coming out and naming names and talking about their stories and showing other story. This one girl goes through, you think it's another fashionable couple, but really she's 14, he's 33, and she's going through every couple and all old Hollywood couples, that all of them
Wow.
are young girl, older guy, or older girl, younger guy. And
Mhm.
I have even had to check myself in this, because I dated a younger guy when I was 28. I dated a 19-year-old guy. And at the time I thought, well, he's legal. That's just what you think. He's legal.
Mhm.
They're legal. Like, the 18-year-old girl and the 50-year-old man, oh, she's legal. And, at the time I thought he was hot and we were cool and everything was fine. But I did have a couple friends like, I don't know about this. And, eventually it didn't work out because of the age thing.
Mhm.
And looking back, I'm so disgusted with myself and think, oh, that's not cool. But, 10 years ago or whatever, like, it was a different time. I had a different mindset. So now I can go back and say, oh, wow, I made a mistake. That was really cringe. And I'm
Oh,
sorry I did that. Not that it hurt anyone, but I used to also kind of buy into that, like, if they're of age, it's okay. I don't know. I've had to learn and grow, basically. I'm admitting my faults. And everyone should, like,
yeah.
no one, you don't have to come out and admit your faults, but if we can kind of look at ourselves and say, oh yeah, I kind of have, like, I have guy friends who won't date older girls. They'll only date young girls.
Hmm.
They want to date 25 and younger, but they're
Formidable.
45 and older. And I'm saying, guys, this is kind of pedo-ish behavior. You don't might not realize it, but you're really,
Yeah.
it's really gross, and they're not. they're not putting it together. And the guys had the posters of the girls on the wall and like, well, she's 18 and you're 47 and like, but you say you're fighting against pedophiles, but like, are
Yeah.
you encouraging the culture of only admiring these young people as attractive and
Yeah.
older people are not attractive enough? Like this is a whole
Yeah.
cultural mindset that we have to change and
Yeah.
stop sexualizing these 18 to look younger, super hot girls on all these TV shows.
They
And
even say that in casting, right?
Yeah.
They're like 18, but to look younger because there's going to be scenes.
Yeah, and then you have these high school, well, they're older than high school, but growing on Euphoria and they're playing high schoolers and they're doing all this sex. And even looking at all these old shows, Gossip Girl and 90210, they're teenagers having sex and we're watching it. This is child pornography. You know, we're playing child pornography. Even if they're adults, they're playing children having sex and us adults are watching it and enjoying it. And so it's
and
like,
paying
okay,
into it and advertising.
yeah.
It's that perspective because those are like, oh, it's just 20 years, you know, when they're 60 and 40 or something. I go, yeah, but when you were 25, they were 5. Like, that's weird too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
it's a whole culture thing. It's like, let's look at what we're really doing. Let's look at the health of these young people. Like, are we really helping them by sexualizing them? No.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I remember that Cuties March when we were protesting out front of Netflix for Cuties.
And
I had to get rid of I was getting rid of darkness for a couple days, you know, like it was just like, whew, that was heavy. And again, our message was like, we're not saying shut down Netflix because a lot of us have gotten paychecks from there. We're like trying to put light on the content and be like, what is the significance and importance of this content? Because you're not bringing it to light to be like, look, isn't this bad? You're putting it on display with Hollywood bells and whistles. That is shift the light into, you know, into the darkness and let it flip.
Yeah, like call it out.
Hollywood. I'm like, come on, Hollywood.
Come on. Yeah, like I want it to be cool to protect children and cool to care about children and cool to have positive content and yeah, and I can't believe Cuties is still on Netflix.
Oh man. Netflix has been really exposed though. Like you can't not look at a Netflix page and the shows and just see agenda. I mean, everywhere. I'm not. Let's let those writers sneak in there and you know, flip it.
Yeah, and they might be kind of going under a little bit because they spend so much money on their shows, and I think people are starting to go to other platforms because of their content not being. So they need to either get with the program and keep it clean, or they're going to fail. That's what's going to come down to, because all these other because parents don't want to put on something and not trust it. They'd rather put on like an Amazon or a Hulu that's maybe cleaner than the Netflix, which they know is dirty.
Yeah. At least the parents that care. We need more of those too. We need more of those stepping up and stepping out and into a mission of protecting our kids and saving the kids and saving our children. And with that note, I probably should wind it down. I was going to say, how everyone can find you. Is it the best place your site? I know she's on every social media, everybody. Like TikTok,
YouTube. Yeah, I'm everywhere. I've been everywhere for 20 years. You can't get rid of me. Can't hide me. Like, I'll keep making more profile. When they shut me down, it's just like more fuel to the fire. Like, oh, I must be like, they're hearing me. They're seeing me. This matters. That's why they're shutting me down. So that must mean I'm doing something right. Someone's listening. Someone's watching. It's affecting people. And so yeah, it just made me go harder.
Go harder. And you're protected, Davis. You are protected. It's been a very difficult journey, I know, for you at times, especially when you lose those friends that you've literally worked side by side on stage with. But you've held your own and you kept your chin up and your light bright. And I thank you for that, because it's been inspiring for me, especially as a mom, because you're a wayshower now, showing my kids follow your bliss and stick to it and be your best self and just, you know, persevere. So really, thank you so much for all you're doing in Southern California, for the planet.
Well, you too. You were a big light because at that time I did need friends, and you were like, "Come over and meet all my friends." And so I got like 10 new friends that day, and
Aw,
like they're genuine people. And sometimes when I'm feeling down, I'll read their posts, like, "Oh yeah, I'm not alone." Out here,
good
there's so
support
many
team.
good people. Yeah, and
Yeah. And
I feel
everyone rooting for you. And you've gone through trenches when some of us couldn't do. So, or we're some living vicariously through you and just sending that unconditional support. Thank you for bringing even a voice
thank
to the
you so
voiceless too.
much.
And
Thank you.
we know how powerful that light is, people. We just do, and it's what it is. It's the war on consciousness, and it's the war on spirit and our souls. So dig deep, find the light within, and help flip it. We're the ones we were waiting for. I'm doing all my
Yeah,
little hashtags.
absolutely. Make it cool to care, speak out, make it trending to save the
Mhm.
kids, protect the kids.
And maybe I'll
Yeah,
see you on set again, even if
I
I'm
would
bringing you
love
a
that.
cappuccino.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would love to see you back. I know you're doing so much, probably better work now because you're working with your kids and with kids, and
it feels
that might
good.
be more um giving to the world, more. But yeah, we'd love to have you back, and we need you back, and we need everyone back that has a voice for the kid. We need good people on set.
We
Um,
do. Yeah.
so
All
we
hands
miss
on deck.
you, but we
Oh,
understand.
thank you. I
I would
miss
be
it
doing the
too.
same. Like if I had kids, I'd probably be 100% into their life and not anything else.
Yeah,
Because they need you at a young age because they're going to be grown and out of the house before you know it. And
I
so it's
know.
important to
Yeah.
to raise them right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not scared to say if even like our little cousin-in-law, she's getting into act, she's 13, 14. I'm like, I have 30 years under my belt. I can protect her. I can show her the way because that is a
Yeah.
bliss that won't go away. And if it's suppressed, how else is it going to come out for her? So she needs to see a positive way to do it, and because not all of this entertainment world is demonic. Case in point, every mofo who has a podcast out there, you are entertaining others.
Exactly. And the same with my niece and nephew and all the little cousins in my family. Like I'm trying to clear the path in Hollywood to make it safe for them to come over here and have auditions and get on set and not be abused. Like, geez, is that so hard?
Yeah,
And to
it's a big
speak out
task.
if something, yeah, and if something is happening, how to speak out loud. And, like, a child was telling me how hard it was when they had to get the swabs all the time. And I was saying, you pull back and you say no and you say it hurts, because they hadn't been taught that, and they need to know those words and those movements of just standing up for yourself. And you know even when you're in an uncomfortable situation, like making the most of it, standing up for yourself, and trying to take back your power a little bit, and like just give those, because I know I didn't have those words growing up. I wasn't taught how to say no to
Right?
grown-ups, or
We were
like I
taught.
was taught,
Mhm.
yeah, keep it quiet or just do what you're told. And sometimes when someone's kind of being mean to you, you just say no and walk away. And
Mhm.
so hopefully kids these days will kind of learn that to stick up for themselves, and that they're valuable and their voice is valuable and how they feel is valuable, and that that their autonomy matters, their voice matters, and they can say no, and they can say I don't want to do that, they can walk away from that,
Yeah.
even if it's their parents, they can
Yeah.
have a
They
voice and be
matter. Yeah.
strong. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
They
learned that
matter.
way too late in life. As a sweet Southern girl, you're taught to just do everything you're told and make everyone happy around you. And then you realize, like, oh, they're all making fun of me. They're all putting me down. They're all using and abusing me and taking advantage of me. And like, how do I feel? I hadn't even thought about it, you know?
Oh.
So I've had to learn that. Like, that's what California has given me, and Hollywood. It's like given me that resiliency. And I haven't or I've tried not to let it make me mad or disconnect, but more, oh, okay, I can be strong and stand up for myself. But at the same time, I want to be loving and giving and helpful and change the vibe, make it more of a Southern hospitality, kind, loving, positive, like friendly, neighborly, help each other. Because we don't have that in Hollywood. A lot of people are just selfish. They keep to
The land
themselves.
you
They
know, land of
take,
lost. Yeah, land of
they
lost
don't
angels.
give.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
let's have a positive, a giving, loving community, and we can share. And I can say my opinion, you can say your opinion, and we can just
Yeah. Because
Agree to disagree.
it's an incredible business. You're surrounded by creators and you are there to be service to others and making content so they're entertained. Like all around, there's beauty that can be found within the industry. It just needs to be seen and focused on and, bring that darkness into light and let it transmute. It's very possible to flip anything light, I think.
Yeah.
So oh, thank you for all that you are and do, Miss Davis. I look forward to doing this again. Maybe we can get another Hollywood roundtable going or something because it's not going away.
Thank
And
you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for speaking every day, all the time, for the kids in all the different ways that I don't even know about or understand. It's not my wheelhouse of like the homeschooling and all this stuff, but it's so important. And you
we're
guys are
covering ground.
changing, you're changing Hollywood, and there's so many homeschool, creative, fun moms who are natural, which that's so cool about California, honestly, is our health here.
Yeah.
Is like we do take good care of our bodies compared to a lot of people in the South and in
Yeah.
America. And
Mhm.
so that's good about California. We're not all bad out here.
I know. It took me leaving Chicago, moving to LA to get my health in check. I left the stress, even in the industry in Chicago. It's a very advertising based industry. Some major motion picture would roll through every year, but coming out here, I was like, and plus I was on my own. So you had to sink or swim. But there's some incredibly beautiful things about California and Southern California, especially. And we're going to honor it and we're going to keep amplifying light and spreading our Christ consciousness to all.
Yes.
Yay, and so it is.
Yes. Love it. Thank you, Heidi. I love you so much.
Love you too. I want to dance with you soon. We got to dance. I know I keep saying, but I spent a year in kind of solitude when we moved. It's just, but here I am. That's why I'm stepping into my mission. So.
Honestly, I would love to have what you have. Like, that's a dream of mine, is to have like the family and the house and the kids and be involved with all their stuff. And I don't know that I'll ever have that in my life. So I want to do as much as I can do for all the kids that are out there that aren't mine, but I want to like give them something. Even though I don't have my own, maybe that's why you need someone who doesn't have their own, that has a little more time. So spread
there
it
she
around.
froze. See, that's when we're tied. I guess it's almost a wrap. Did it freeze for you?
No. Oh no.
It was totally frozen and then it went in and out. But I was going to say you were the story you told us, you had a bus full of children on set. Like you are doing it just in this different way. And I do wish upon you every one of your dreams to come true. Just keep manifesting and keep walking in light, because you are spreading it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's an honor, it's a privilege to be out here doing this. And I just love having friends like you and all the girls who are all of our friends. I love you girls.
We got this. We're the ones we're waiting for. So here we are.
I know. I love us. I'm so proud of us. Like, I'm just
Me too.
So grateful like that I'm on this track. It feels so good to be on the right side of history and helping the kids. And I have kids who are like, they get it, like, they're like, oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, and a real quick wrap up too is we have not wavered in our truth. And to me, even through the sludge, we have years now of content and our voice, because social media is not going away and everything we put on the interwebs is not going away. And you will see our voice has not wavered and we've been here. So every time people are like, who's this about? Where's she come from? Check out this.
Like look at the playlist of rallies and like I've been out here and I'm proud to do it. I love to do it, and I would rather be doing this stuff than be an A-list actor Hollywood. Like I'd rather be known for being like, oh, that was the good girl in Hollywood who exposed the pedophiles and changed the world for the better. Like that's cool. That's more meaningful than just falling in line and being a robot and doing what you're told. Like anybody could do that, but who's going to be the ones to actually stand up against evil and fight the bad guys? Like that's the fun part. So.
That's the fun part, and all with a wink and a smile.
Like save the kids and
save the kids.
Even if the parents don't get it, the kids get it. And the kids are growing up and they're seeing like, oh, I do see that they're bad guys in Hollywood. Oh, I get what you're saying. Oh, maybe that lady's not so crazy. Maybe my mom's a little but hey, thank you for, you're all about save the kids. I'm a kid, and so the kids
Yeah.
get it and
Yeah.
they'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, hopefully we're making Hollywood a better place for them, a safer place for them, and for all the kids
Yes.
watching, a safer place to watch.
That's
So,
a mission. And thank you for
yay.
stepping in ears. All
Yeah, you
right.
too.
Well, until next time, thank you again for all that you are and do. And please, everyone, check out her beautiful artwork, her videos. She's got her dancing, she's got her improv, she's got everything out there. She's on all the social medias. There's nothing wrong with supporting like mine. So get out there and show your support. And please keep shining bright.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Love,
you.
love.